Well, it's back to school next week. It's the first time in a classroom for a lot of students starting grade 1, and it's also the first time in front of a classroom for a lot of teachers in pretty much all the grades. And they could be fronting classrooms in high schools, in primary schools, any grade of either of those, and that can be a little bit daunting as well. But in the Catholic education system, Toowoomba Catholic Schools have a program to iron out some of those little wrinkles and make it as smooth a transition as possible. The program is called Support to Succeed. And at the moment, in those days before the school year officially gets underway, teachers in the Catholic school system are having induction days. They're being welcomed into the Toowoomba Catholic School universe, being introduced to what it means to be a professional in a Catholic school, further exploring the approach to teaching and learning, hearing from more experienced teachers and administrators, and also getting practical well-being strategies as well. I want to introduce you to two first-time teachers who are going through that process and probably all the more grateful for it too. Tammy Spies is a mature age early career teacher, and Tessa Hanrahan is an early career teacher about to go into teaching year 2. Both of those teachers will have their first days next week at St Saviour's Primary School. And also joining me to tell us more about the program is Acting Executive Director of Toowoomba Catholic Schools, Madonna. Sleba. Ladies, welcome. A pleasure to have a chat to you.
Thank you for having us. Looking forward to it.
Tammy, can I start with you? So you're going into teaching having already had a career in another field. Tell me about that decision. What made you want to make an almost sort of mid-career decision to switch over to teaching? Tell me that story.
Well, ever since I was little, I have actually always wanted to be a teacher. And life took me down a different path for a bit. So it wasn't until I began working as a school officer, so when my children actually started at school, that I saw firsthand how the positive impact that teachers had on students. So it was during that experience or that time that confirmed for me that I needed to follow that dream of becoming a teacher.
And what did that mean in terms of the implications on your life, presumably going back to study and perhaps having to give up the work you were doing at the time? How challenging was all of that?
As a mum of 3 boys, it was very challenging. So I studied full-time whilst I also worked, but I did drop back to part-time work to try and get that balance of life. Yeah, so it was just that struggle of getting that balance right and having that good support from my husband and my children as well as my workers. I was working as a school officer and having their support from my colleagues was really important as well.
In a way, did working at a school make what you were studying and the nature of all that a little bit easier in terms of your work life wasn't that far removed from what you were studying?
Oh, absolutely. I was able to actually see what I was learning at uni and how that was implemented in the classroom. I'm very fortunate to see the strategies and what it looks like and sound like within that classroom and how teachers were making that positive impact on the students.
Does that mean you nailed all your assignments?
I wouldn't go that far.
But yeah, had some good source material, I suppose,
Absolutely.
in some regards. Tessa, for you, it's more of a straightforward step from school to studying to be a teacher. Is that the case for you?
I did a little bit of travelling first prior to starting studying, and I was actually a nanny overseas during lockdown. And so I got the role of homeschooling the children over there, and that's what made me decide, you know what, those people who are working to get all these children motivated by learning through a screen are pretty amazing, and I'd love to do that myself. So, yeah, I came home and enrolled and been studying since then.
Wow. So in a way, you saw teaching at its most challenging, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And so now you're going to see teaching at its probably, hopefully, most rewarding, in the ideal circumstance.
Definitely. When I came home, I have worked in schools also as a student officer. So again, with, like Tammy said, seeing that the study in practice was really beneficial.
So at this stage for both of you, how much time have you spent prac teaching while you were studying, getting over that nerves of, my goodness, they're all looking at me, now I have to teach them?
I think there's roughly 6 placements. They start smaller with 2-week blocks, then they go to 3-week blocks. Then your final one is a 6-week block, your GTPA, and you build up to time in front of the classroom while you're on those placements. It's very depending on the teacher, how much they're willing to let you take their class and hand over the reins. And so, yeah, it's a good experience, but it's definitely a big jump going from having a class for 5 weeks to having your very own class for the whole year.
I think the beauty of what Tammy and Tessa have described here is that working in a school as a university student as well as an employee in one of our schools, that benefit of seeing how a classroom is in action each day and learning from the expertise of that class teacher is enormous learning that does, in our eyes, put certainly an advantage for any of those school officers that are enrolled in doing their university degree in education.
Absolutely.
Definitely like placement every day. You're learning every day.
Madonna, can I bring you in terms of these induction days and the whole Support to Succeed program? Tell me how that works and what the aim is of the program.
Certainly, Support to Succeed program has been in place in Toowoomba Catholic Schools for a number of years now, and our connection with our new teachers begins even before the year that they enter as a classroom teacher. So as soon as we start to recruit, we start to engage and build that relationship with them then. So when they do come, we provide 2 full induction days prior to the school year beginning. And what that involves is it's centred around what it means to work as a professional teacher within our Catholic schools. So we explore our approach to teaching and learning. The graduates will hear insights about how to set themselves up for success, particularly in those early days, and who is in place within their school and within the organisation to support them throughout their first few years of teaching and of course, ongoing as well.
So is each new teacher assigned a mentor specifically to work with them?
Yes. So all of our early career teachers are assigned a mentor in their first year of teaching. And that's probably the cornerstone of our Support to Succeed program. It's a strong mentoring relationship that provides our early career teachers with that guidance, the encouragement, that practical support that they need to thrive, particularly in their first year. We want them to have a successful year in that space, and they will continue to learn. As both these ladies have mentioned, teaching is about seeking to provide those opportunities for all students so that they can learn in that safe, orderly and disciplined environment. And that's what they need to set up, particularly in the first few days even of each year, and continue to revisit what are the expectations I'm setting up here so these children can learn and engage in quality teaching and learning opportunities.
Tammy and Tessa, do you feel, has this made this transition a little bit more comfortable? Do you feel like you're going into a familiar situation?
Absolutely. For me, I have found the program really helpful, making that transition from university into the classroom to feel much more manageable. The program also helped me meet so many new graduates where we've been able to share our contact details with one another. So it doesn't matter where we are located, we are still able to support each other and reach out. And I've met so many new people who I know will become my lifelong friends, where I just know that I can touch base and check in and just share what's going on in our lives. Yeah. And having the mentor program like Madonna said, is just invaluable. I have a teacher from my school who's constantly checking in with me daily. She's sending me beautiful messages for my first day. I received a beautiful teacher survival kit with, all of the necessary goodies that I'm going to need. So shout out to Nat, who is incredible and very thoughtful. And I just feel really blessed to be a part of this. Yeah.
I'm not going to ask whether chocolate was in there.
Absolutely.
Okay. See, I didn't have to ask. I had a feeling that information would be volunteered. And that would be crucial.
During the induction days, there was a big focus on well-being and how to prevent teacher burnout. So not only were we taught about teaching strategies, but we were also taught how to look after ourselves, how to manage our workload, and the support programs in place that the diocese has for all their staff. It was just really good to know those strategies and points.
And Tessa, certainly a very handy thing to learn, you'd agree?
Seeing you as an individual and rather than just a teacher, and because it is a big jump from university to the classroom, and so having that support in place while you go through that transition is helpful for the emotional demands and the struggles that can occur with the transition.